The Kingdom at the Edge of the World. Once upon a time, beyond the last mountain range where even the winds dared not wander, there lay a kingdom wrapped in mist and myth, a place known only in whispers as the Kingdom at the Edge of the World. It was not marked on any map, for no cartographer had ever found it. Sailors claimed it floated on clouds, and wandering minstrels sang that it was built atop the bones of giants. But those who lived there knew only this: the kingdom was real, its borders ringed by ancient forests and silver rivers that shimmered even in darkness, and its skies full of stars no one else in the world could see. The people of the Edge Kingdom were quiet, thoughtful folk who tended to their fields, carved stories into stone, and left offerings of bread and salt at the base of ancient standing stones. They believed the world ended beyond their eastern cliffs, where the ocean dropped into an abyss of stars and dreams. And they believed their ruler, Queen Meralda, held the balance between day and night. Queen Meralda was no ordinary monarch. She was tall and solemn, with hair the color of ravens' wings and a crown woven of wind and moonlight. She spoke rarely, but when she did, her voice carried the sound of faraway bells and thunder. Some said she was part fae, and others whispered that she had been born from starlight. But for all her mystery, Queen Meralda ruled with kindness. She listened to her people, walked among them when storms rose, and kept the gates to the palace open during the solstice feasts. The kingdom, though small and remote, knew peace until the year the stars stopped shining. It began on the longest night of the winter solstice. The villagers gathered at the cliffs, as they always did, to watch the stars rise over the abyssal sea. Children clutched lanterns made from crystal pine cones, and elders murmured old songs. But that night, the sky remained dark. No stars, no moon, no shimmer, only emptiness. The people returned to their homes with dread in their hearts. By morning, strange things began to happen. The silver rivers turned sluggish and dull. The wind, once full of whispered tales, fell silent. Crops withered. Birds no longer sang. And Queen Meralda, whose presence had always felt like standing in a sunbeam, became pale and faint. The court healers said she was not ill, only fading, as though the world itself was forgetting her. The queen summoned her council, cloaked in shadow. "I must journey beyond," she said, "to the place where day is born. The kingdom is unraveling because something in the balance has broken, but I cannot go alone." No one spoke. Everyone feared the unknown lands beyond the cliffs. Then, from the back of the chamber, a voice rang out. "I'll go with you," said a girl. She was no older than 17, with storm-gray eyes and boots caked in mountain clay. Her name was Ellen, daughter of a shepherd, known for asking too many questions and climbing where she shouldn't. "You are bold," the queen said, studying her. "Do you know what you offer?" Ellen nodded. "If you fall, Your Majesty, there must be someone to help you rise." And so it was decided. At dawn, the queen and Ellen stood at the edge of the cliffs. The villagers watched as Queen Meralda took a shard of starlight from the crown she wore and pressed it into Ellen's hand. "This will show you truth," she said, "but truth is not always safe." Ellen took it, heart pounding, and the two stepped off the edge of the world and vanished. They fell for what felt like days, through a sky full of memories. Faces, songs, forgotten dreams passed them by like comets. When they landed, it was on soft ground covered in blue moss, beneath a sky that pulsed like a heartbeat. "This," the queen said, looking around, "is the in-between." The land was strange. Trees floated above the earth, tethered by roots of light. Rivers ran in loops. Birds flew backward. Nothing made sense, and everything shimmered. Here they would seek the woven bridge, which led to the heart of the world. a place where the sun and moon were stitched into the sky each day and where balance was born. But the in-between did not welcome travelers. On the first night, shadows rose from the moss. They had no faces, but they whispered in Ellen's ear. "Why follow a fading queen?" they hissed. "Why risk your name for a ghost?" Ellen gripped the shard of starlight and held it high. The shadows hissed and fled. On the second day, they crossed a forest where trees spoke in riddles. "You may pass," said a tree with bark like glass. "If you answer this, what breaks but cannot fall, and falls but cannot break?" Ellen thought hard, then smiled. Day breaks, and night falls. The tree bowed and opened a path. But Queen Meralda was growing weaker. Her steps faltered. Her eyes dimmed. "You are the light of your kingdom," Ellen said. "You can't fade." "I am only a mirror," said the queen. "If the stars fade, so do I." Ellen did not sleep that night. She held the shard and whispered to it, "Show me how to help her." And in her dreams, it answered. The next day they reached the woven bridge, but it had unraveled. Threads of gold and silver lay in a tangled heap. Across the abyss floated the heart of the world, glowing faintly. As Ellen approached the threads, a figure appeared. He was tall, with robes like unraveling constellations and a smile like frost. "I am the Unmaker," he said. "I cut the stars from the sky. I broke the bridge." "Why?" Ellen asked, stepping in front of the queen. "Because endings are beautiful," he replied. "And because the world has sung the same song too long. I want silence." "Then you will have to silence me," Ellen said, raising the shard. The Unmaker laughed. "What will you do with a sliver of light?" But as he stepped forward, Queen Meralda rose. She was faint, but in her eyes was fire. "You have no right to steal what was not yours." "I have every right," he said. "I was born from the breath between creation. I am the silence after the last note." "Then hear this," Ellen said. And she sang. It was not a song she had learned. It was a song born from wind and roots, from starlight and riverstones. It rose like dawn, fierce and full of memory. The shard in her hand blazed. The broken threads trembled, lifted into the air, and began to weave themselves. The Unmaker shrieked, trying to stop it. But Queen Meralda stepped forward, her hand on Ellen's shoulder. "I remember who I am now," the queen said, "and so does the world." The bridge rewove itself, shining like a river of light. The Unmaker vanished like smoke in wind. At the heart of the world, they found a great loom where stars were spun from golden thread and time stitched into seasons. The loom had stalled. Queen Meralda approached and whispered a word. The loom shuddered and began to spin again. With each turn, light returned to her cheeks. Her crown reformed, whole again. The world remembered her. And Hélène, watching, felt something stir within herself. "You are more than a shepherd's daughter," the queen said. "You are a thread of the loom itself." "I'm just someone who asked too many questions," Hélène said. "And it is questions that hold the world together," Meralda replied. When they returned to the Edge Kingdom, the stars were shining. The rivers flowed silver. Birds sang. The people cheered. And in the queen's hand was a second crown, woven not of moonlight, but of starlight and earth. "For the one who reminded the world to remember," she said, placing it on Ellen's head. Ellen blinked. "But I don't." "You do," the queen said. "You walked into the dark and returned with light." And so it was that Ellen became the first Star Warden of the kingdom at the edge of the world. She walked the cliffs, watched the skies, and kept the balance. And on winter nights, when the stars blinked bright and wild, children swore they heard her singing to them, songs older than mountains and stronger than silence. And if you ever find yourself standing at the edge of the world, look up. If the stars are shining, thank her.